I had never enjoyed work-related dinners. There was always too much fake laughter, too much performance. People pretending to connect while counting the minutes until it was over. That evening felt different from the start. The atmosphere carried a strange weight, as if everyone in the room was unconsciously bracing for something unseen. Maybe it was because my boss, Daniel Hughes, kept glancing at his wristwatch again and again. Or maybe it was the way my wife, Emily, kept running her hands over her dress, straightening invisible wrinkles like someone preparing for bad news. It could have been nothing more than my own intuition, a quiet warning I didn't yet understand. Daniel was admired by nearly everyone. No one could ever fully explain why. He was refined, charismatic, effortlessly confident in a way that drew attention without demanding it. People leaned toward him without realizing they were doing it. I respected him. I trusted him. Looking back, I trusted him far more than I should have. Emily and I arrived 5 minutes late. Daniel and his wife, Claire, were already at the table. The moment Emily stepped in behind me, everything changed. Daniel's gaze snapped to her instantly. It wasn't the look of a man simply noticing an attractive woman. It was sharper, familiar, as if he had recognized something from a past he wasn't supposed to remember. His expression shifted rapidly, tightening, softening, then settling into something I couldn't quite identify. "Glad you made it," he said to me, yet his attention never left her. "Emily, you look absolutely beautiful tonight." It wasn't the compliment itself that unsettled me. It was how he said it. The warmth in his voice felt misplaced, too intimate, like he was recalling a moment instead of reacting to present. Emily stiffened immediately. Her shoulders pulled back, her body closing on itself. She avoided his eyes completely. I should have asked her then if something was wrong. I didn't. The meal dragged on. Polite conversation filled the gaps. Glasses clinked. Soft jazz pulsed through the restaurant, steady and controlled, like a heart forcing itself to remain calm. Claire talked about their children. Emily responded courteously, but there was a practiced heaviness to her words, as if each answer had been carefully rehearsed. Daniel barely joined the conversation. He watched her. Whenever Emily glanced up, his eyes were already fixed on her, waiting. I told myself I was imagining it. Maybe he was just curious. Maybe I was letting insecurity get the best of me. Then Emily excused herself to use the restroom. Daniel's gaze followed her every step until she disappeared from view. Claire saw it happen. Her fork paused halfway to her mouth. She didn't say a word. When Emily returned, something about her had changed. Her smile was hollow, never touching her eyes. Her posture was closed, guarded. She made a point not to look at Daniel, even once. That was when he leaned forward, his voice smooth and deliberate, like stone polished to a shine. "So, Emily," he said, "how have you been lately?" "It's been a long time." "A long time." My pulse skipped. "Since when?" Before I could speak, Emily interrupted him. "I've been well. Thank you." Her voice shook, not from fear, but from the effort of keeping something contained. Daniel's lips curved into a faint smirk, as though her discomfort amused him. The rest of the evening felt like walking over shattered glass, every moment tense and dangerous. When the check arrived, Emily stood up so abruptly her chair nearly tipped over. "We should leave," she said quickly. Outside, the night air was cold and sharp. Emily wouldn't look at me. Not in the parking lot. Not once we were in the car. Not until we were halfway home. "Let's stop going to these dinners," she murmured. "Why?" I asked. She hesitated. "They're uncomfortable." But the way her voice trembled told me the truth was far worse. The next morning, while she was in the shower, her phone lit up on the nightstand. A notification sat on the screen. One unread message from Daniel Hughes. My stomach sank instantly. I didn't tap it. I didn't let myself cross that boundary. Still, seeing his name, there was enough to shift the ground beneath me. When Emily came out of the bathroom and noticed me holding her phone, she stopped cold. It vibrated. I said, quickly. I didn't look at anything. She took the phone from my hand with too much care, too much restraint, then placed it face down on the table as if it could scorch her skin. "It's nothing," she murmured. But the words didn't hold. The lie fractured the moment it left her mouth. "Emily," I asked softly, "how do you know him?" Her body reacted before she could stop it, a small, involuntary tremor. "I told you last night," she said. "I don't want to talk about this." But I needed answers. I needed to understand why my employer had looked at my wife like someone he wants a claim over. At the office, Daniel behaved like nothing was wrong. Too normal. He slapped my shoulder, discussed deadlines, assigned tasks. Then, when no one else was around, he motioned me aside. "Your wife," he said casually. "She's remarkable." Ice spread through my chest. What's that supposed to mean? His smile unfolded slowly, deliberate and ugly in its confidence. "Take it easy, Logan," he said. "Just recognizing quality. Not admiring. Not noticing. Claiming." A week later, I found Emily sitting on the couch, gripping her phone like it was dangerous. Before I could ask what was wrong, she spoke. "Logan, I need to tell you something." She didn't raise her eyes. Years before we met, I interviewed for a company downtown. Daniel was the one conducting the interview. My heart thudded hard. "At first, everything was professional," she continued. "Then afterward, he asked me out. I said no." Her breath caught. He didn't accept it. She paused, swallowing. He started calling, sending messages, showing up near the building. Nothing I could prove, nothing obvious, but enough that I was scared. I felt my jaw tighten. I quit before I even started the job. "Why didn't you tell me?" "Because eventually he stopped," she said quietly. "And when you got hired under him, I panicked. But I convinced myself he wouldn't remember me." Her voice broke. "But he did." Everything finally aligned. The stares, the tension, the low voice at dinner. "What did he say to you that night?" I asked. Her eyes filled with tears. He said, "You ran once. You won't run now." Something cold and steady settled into my bones. "You're not facing this by yourself anymore," I told her. The following morning, I walked straight into Daniel's office and shut the door behind me. He smiled like he'd been expecting me. "This ends now," I said evenly. "You will stay away from my wife." He leaned back in his chair. "Or what?" I didn't shout. I didn't threaten. I placed a printed copy of the company's harassment policy on his desk. Then I set down screenshots, old messages Emily had finally shown me. His expression cracked. "This is your final warning," I said. "Step away." For the first time, he looked uncertain, reduced. 2 days later, Daniel announced he was taking an extended personal leave. By the end of the month, he submitted his resignation. That evening, Emily and I sat together on the porch. She rested her head against my shoulder. The first moment of peace I'd felt from her in weeks. "I'm sorry I didn't tell you sooner," she whispered. I kissed the top of her head. "You're safe now," I said. "That's what matters."